So, without further ado, we would love to host just a Q&A session here. If anyone on the call has questions about their application as they're working on it, this is the perfect time to be completing an OCal application packet for either the cultivator, distributor, or a manufacturer role because it takes about 3 to 4 months to get you certified. And by the end of that window, it's very probable that you might be harvesting eligible cannabis for OCal certification. So if we start now, we complete the paperwork now, we get you enrolled in the program, it is very possible to get you certified by your harvest this year. Perfect timing for that. So, um, anybody on the call, if you'd like to either raise your hand and ask a question that way or pop your question into the chat, we welcome those. We're here for you. Any questions about the process, the timeline, the fees, all the above?
Go for it. Looks like we have a hand raised. Maggie. Oh,
You have to allow her to talk.
oh, hold up. One second.
It's go.
Allow to talk. All right, Maggie. Unmute yourself.
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, great. A couple things. One, just on a question on the signatures required. Do you guys, do you accept digital signatures, or is it something we should scan each of the signature pages or print the signature pages and then scan them back in if we're gonna email you the whole packet? Do you have a preference?
Perfect. Perfect question. We definitely would accept a scanned wet signature, but DocuSign or Adobe Sign, that's all great too. We welcome those. Whatever's easiest for you, we'll work with it.
Okay, what are those, sorry, just real quick, what are the digital ones
Mm,
that you recommend that are
yeah.
easy for folks to use?
Most folks use Adobe Signature in our world. That just because the forms um, can be downloaded as Adobe copies and then signed that way. Or if you downloaded the Word doc and you already filled it out, you can easily convert it to Adobe and sign it that way. I think DocuSign is a free service that you can use as well to get a signature on there. Um, and if you want, you can just email over the unsigned copy and ask us to send you a signature request. So if you're struggling in any way to get the digital signature completed, when you submit it, just say, I realize page blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah are not yet signed. Can you send me a signature request? And that you don't need to have Adobe to complete that. We'll just send you an email that says, would you like to sign this particular page? You'll click yes, complete a digital signature, and it'll auto-populate that on our end.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
Hold on one second. I'm just going through all of our application pages. And I'll have a couple more questions.
You bet. Sounds great.
Um,
And while Maggie is pulling up the next question, I did just want to let everybody know that on June 4th at 3 p.m., we are having a really exciting webinar to discuss the ins and outs of cannabis rescheduling at a federal level and how it specifically impacts small cannabis businesses. That will be led by Bill Panzer, who is the legal director with Cal Normal. 3 p.m. on June 4th. All are welcome. You just need to register to, free to attend. And the information on how to register will be put in the chat, and we hope to see many of you there. All right, I'll hand it back, Maggie, if you have your next question ready.
yes. So I am on.
It's a little difficult to hear you, just heads up.
Okay, one sec. We had ongoing questions about in terms of whether we needed to fill out information in terms of container growing. Our license, we only have an outdoor license. We only grow full season outdoor in the ground. But we we cultivate our own, we keep our own moms for our own genetic clones. And I think somebody on a previous webinar said that because we do that, that we have to also mark that we're container growing, just because of those, like when the plants are in like 4 inches or 1 gallons before we plant them out into their full season home. Does that make sense?
It totally does. Yeah. Yeah, ideally, um, that planting stock would be certified OCal, and then you would feed it into your in-ground production. And our forms absolutely provide space to report that growing area, that type of container production. If you find that you're having problems certifying the planting stock management, I know that um, in previous conversations I've had, getting that planting stock uh, to grow and be strong and healthy so you can get it in the ground sometimes requires materials that are not approved by the OCal regulations. If you find that's the case as you're filling out those forms, there is a scenario in which your container production, like your greenhouse space, is not a part of your certification, but those plants can be justified in your OCal production if they're not otherwise commercially available. So if the particular type of cannabis you'd like to grow is not commercially available in a certified OCal state, you can pull non-OCal planting stock into your operation. Um, and and for that reason, this is very tricky, and I'm sorry if I'm totally confusing you, but for that reason, you could potentially exclude, if you needed to, you could exclude the container production from your OCal certification. Have I completely lost you? I said that in a very convoluted way.
So I don't know. Let me check. Okay, so
Sure.
I'm looking at the parcel application form. So
Mhm.
OCal B03, where it under E, verification of land history and activities. Um, it says then it like the second arrowed point. It says for container systems, provide one of the following, or you click the box if it's not applicable, all crops are grown in the ground. And so would we click that all crop not applicable, all crops are grown in the ground, even if we've got those like small plant, like I guess that's what I'm wondering. Like, are we
Yeah.
considered also a container system in this sense? Or can we check that box, all plants, all crops are grown in the ground?
Yeah, it depends what we're certifying. So you could fill out a parcel application for the in-ground production only and stop there, not include your greenhouse space, or you could fill out a second parcel application for your greenhouse space. And I would recommend trying to certify both. So that would be two separate parcel applications, one for the container production and one for the in-ground production. Yeah, there we go. That was the right way to answer your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would need okay, and would we have to do like a full second application or just this form,
Right.
parcel
Just
application form?
just the parcel application. Yeah, we'll certify the two different production systems under the same certification agreement. It's just calling out, this is a greenhouse space versus this is in-ground production space.
Okay. Okay, because like the goal is to have in the future with OCal certification, it's possible that we would be provided the OCal certified genetics by a manufacturer or so for, like somebody who's looking for OCal certified cannabis. But if that's not the case, then we would continue to cultivate our own genetics.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and you can
and
always
so
add in
that
that.
would be considered both a container system and because you have and the in ground.
Correct. Yeah, and you can always add in that new supplier in the future. That's totally fine.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
and so then is it just the parcel application form that we have to do an additional one for? Or are there other forms that would also have to be done additionally for the container system?
There is one other form I'd point you to. Well, two actually. Um, Probably want to fill out the questions on the C 3.0. That's the seed and planting stock form. And then there's also the C 3.1, container greenhouse shade house production.
Okay, we did fill that out.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
Okay, no problem. Um, okay, so just a second. Parcel application form. Okay, and that will, okay, it'll say essentially like all the same things. It'll just have that different line item marked.
As far as the parcel application goes?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it probably, a different map. One map calling out the in-ground production space and the other map calling out the container production space.
Okay.
Yeah.
On our map, hold on, let's see what we have there. Okay, because on our map we have the cultivation site outlined and marked as well as the greenhouse.
Oh,
Can they
okay.
both be on the same map?
Sure. Yeah. If it's easy to call them out that way, I'm sure the reviewer can work with that. You bet.
Okay. Um, okay, great. So just while I have you, um, okay, so we're gonna email the full like application submission.
Hmm.
Um, so we have all of the forms that came in like the OCal cultivator application. So 1, 3 through 8 essentially. Um, and then we have our handwritten label, a parcel map. We've got the we made like a infographic, sort of like a harvest workflow chart. And then we
Perfect.
have the materials list, a sample invoice. Is there anything else I'm missing? Oh, and our farm activity log,
Perfect. Yeah, that and the OCal contract sounds like a good list to me.
the OCal contract.
That's just the one with the signature, the binding agreement. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's like
Yeah.
the first one,
Hmm.
the first document. Okay, so we just need to get signatures on these, I think.
Yeah. And
Um,
again, if you have any trouble with the digital signature option, just let us know via email you'd like us to send a request. That's super easy for us to do.
okay. And then once we submit, what should we anticipate then in terms of like, do we, if if we missed something on a form, is this sort of like a malleable process then in which, we can make together, we can make revisions if we're informed of to need to?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. At no point is it pass fail. Real quick, if you have any trouble emailing over those files, I know they can get bulky with all that stuff included. Just let us know, and we'll give you a file sharing platform where you can just upload them and we'll grab them from that platform. So,
Okay.
yeah, again, just email Marley or I, and we can get that set up for you if you have any trouble. And then what to expect. So it'll probably be about a 2-week window, but in which the reviewer will go through all of that paperwork. They'll build out your record in our system. They will start putting together what we call a compliance report. It's basically a fancy to-do list, and it will break out all of the findings they have, so questions they have from your review, in order of importance. There'll probably be questions that we have to settle before we send out the inspector. There might be questions that we'll solve while the inspector's there. There could be things that are just like guidances, things to keep in mind moving forward. Um, and at the end of that 2-week window, they'll email that compliance report back to you, and you have ample opportunity to adjust or clarify, add to, take away, anything that needs to be changed within your OCal system plan so we can move closer to that inspection. And then the same thing will happen after inspection. There'll be they'll review the inspection report, and then any updates that happen to your compliance report will reflect those findings. And you have, the entire review process is geared to allow you to change, adjust, or update your plan as needed.
Great. Okay, that sounds good. Can can you two put your email addresses in the chat?
Sure. Get certified at CCOF reaches both of us, so that's
Oh,
super
okay.
easy. Yeah, that's a really great one to keep in your contact list.
Is that the one that the application should be submitted to?
Uh, Um, let me confuse you with a new one. No, on the OCal contract, it'll give instructions where to submit, and that is
Okay.
inbox. Yeah, inbox at ccof.org. If you send it to get certified, that's no trouble. We'll get it where it needs to go. But inbox becomes the hub for all submissions moving forward. That is that inbox is watched by, I think it's 8 to 10 people. There's a whole slew of folks monitoring that email and making sure that all submissions are processed into our system and assigned to who they need to be assigned to.
Okay, great. And so if we want to set up like the file sharing, the upload platform and so forth though, should
Mhm,
we email you first at like the get certified email address?
totally. Yeah, we can absolutely do that for you. That's
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. Um, okie dokie. That I think is all the questions we had. Uh, Thank you so much. This series has been really helpful.
I love that.
Get
Yeah, you're
through
so
this.
welcome. Thanks for working on those forms. I know it's a big push up front. Rest assured, we don't ask you to do all those forms every year. So it's one big investment getting your OCal system plan ironed out, and then year to year, it's just management. So yeah, thanks for working on it.
Thanks so much, Maggie. Those are really helpful questions. And just opening it up to any other participants that are on the call. If anybody else has questions about the application process, anything that we've covered in these webinar series or anything that you've seen as you've gone through the application, feel free to raise your hand and ask a question. All right. Well, while people are thinking, I'll plug again that June 4th webinar is going to be really great with Bill Panzer, Legal Director of Cal Normal, to talk about rescheduling, open to anybody and everybody to join. Registration is in the chat. Um, Anybody think of a question? Anybody have anything? Okay. Marli or Kim, is there anything you want to add in while people think of potential questions?
Um, Just to highlight again, communication channels. Marli and I are dedicated to questions like this all day, every day. So if you think of something after the call or you're watching this at a later date, feel free to give us a ring. You can use our main line, just Google CCOF phone number, and then extension 1 reaches our team. That's where the phone tree will take you as well. Or, like I said, get certified at ccof.org reaches our entire team. So we're definitely here to support you. And if you're interested in OCal or you have any questions at all, um, we're here to chat.
Thank you so much, Kim. Marli, anything to pop in?
Nope, I don't think so. Kim covered it. But we're here for any questions as they come up at a later date as well as today.
Well, I'll just say, as somebody whose farm is OCal certified, it has been a really big boost to our farming operation, opening up new channels for distribution and for sales. We now farm the majority of our crop for OCal because of the market share we're able to dive into, and it's been a really great business decision for us on our small farm. And So yeah, we really want to continue through the Nevada County Cannabis Alliance to promote this program, promote CCOF. They've been absolutely exceptional to work with, available for questions, available as there's been changes to our operating plan, really responsive, great team. Inspectors have all been really helpful when they've come out, and it's been certainly well worth the investment that we put in to get certified, go through the application process, and then the yearly inspections. And so just really want to thank CCOF for just having such a great team, easy to work with, and then the OCal program, which really allows us to have our practices be visible on the market. And more consumers are definitely asking for organic, asking for living soil and all the things that all of us do anyhow. Just really, being able to have it captured under a certification has been a really great business choice for our farm. And now that I blabbed a little bit, does anybody have any questions that may have popped up?
I do. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so back to this. So our second parcel application document is going to be for the container system. And so in section, I'm keeping everything the same. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm filling this out correctly. In D3, it asks, is all production at this parcel in containers and on permanent solid impermeable flooring? I had checked no.
Yep. Yeah, it's just the
Um,
flooring in your greenhouse space. If it's on concrete, we actually don't need land history for that space. If it's on gravel or anything, dirt permeable, we would need land history. And if your entire, the whole piece of property that you own has the same land history, it'll be no trouble. It's the same thing. Just repeat that signature that says, I've managed it since this date. Here's what I've applied in that timeline. But if it's concrete, you don't have to fill that out. You can just skip it entirely.
okay, it's not concrete. It's like gravel.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so then going down to section E for container systems, we'll need to provide what, like a statement signed and dated by us.
You can duplicate, if it's managed the same, you can duplicate exactly what you have for the other parcel application. So, how long have you managed that space? If you are renting it and someone managed it before you, getting their signature, that kind of thing, for the last 3 years.
Gotcha. Okay. And so since we've owned this parcel for 20 years, that
Easy
is
peasy.
sort of no. Okay, so we don't really need to provide any additional documentation.
It would just be that just like you did for the other parcel at page 5, the affidavit of land history, it would be
Yep.
your signature on that saying, we've owned it since this date. Here's what we've applied in that window, if anything. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Greenhouse spaces just have that exception of if they're concrete flooring, we don't need to investigate the last 3 years because it's concrete. That's really all it's getting to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Um, okay, that was my other question. Thank you.
Awesome. You bet. It's a good one.
Thanks, Maggie, for that. Anybody else have any other questions as you've looked through the application? This really is just a Q&A session as our last and final of this series. And again, if you need to go back and rewatch some of the series, they are all available on our website that have been linked in the chat. And we encourage you to direct any and all questions to Marli and Kim, who've provided their email in the chat. And yeah, so does the chat show up on recordings?
No, I put it in the comments.
In the comment
I'll
comment
put
show
the
up.
comments on the YouTube.
Okay.
Recording.
Okay, comments will show up and the recording. All right. Well, before we close this, does anybody have anything final to add? Yep. Great question, Maggie. Is payment due after inspection?
There's a new application fee of $350 that's due when you submit all that paperwork. So as we start pulling things out of that file sharing platform, creating a record, we will either ask that you provide credit card information in the application packet, or you can complete the payment online. We can give you a call, do it over the phone, or you can send a check, whatever's most comfortable. So that's due up front. And then shortly after inspection, you will get the bill for that visit, and that's based on time and travel. Right around that same time, we will also bill your first annual certification fee, and we cannot move to reviewing the inspection report until that first annual fee is paid. So upfront, $350, and then about halfway through the 4-month process, you'll see the annual fee and the inspection fee billed.
Great, thank you. And for those that may not be able to see the chat, any and all questions, Marli and Kim are available for one-on-one support. Get certified at ccof.org, or you can call them at 831-423-2263, extension 1. All right, any final questions? Cool. All right, Kim and Marli, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all who are watching later or attending now.
Thanks so much for having us. This was really fun.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.